What personal experiences or challenges shaped your passion for financial literacy too as well?
Would you say when we started trading? Well, let me rephrase that.
And also building generational wealth, I'm sorry.
It was at the age of 32, I had made my first million. So, but I wasn't responsible. We didn't have all the technology that we have now. You're talking 24 years ago, I'm 56. 24 years, yes, the internet was out, this, that, and the other, not like it is now. Wasn't social media really. There wasn't social media at that time, 24 years ago when I made my first million. So when I sit up here and think about what's going on now, had I had a better understanding, because I didn't grow up with money, even though we were middle class. I didn't have an understanding about credit. I didn't have an understanding about investments, didn't understand about insurance, understand about having a trust, didn't understand those things. And had I known those things, what we know now, it would totally be different. And that's the problem that we have within our own community, because we're always living paycheck to paycheck or trying to survive. And if we learn that we just put a little bit of money away, not necessarily on a savings, but on an investment side or with an insurance policy, that we can actually build wealth.
I want to be able to chime in on that as well. What made us get into it from a son's perspective is it was forced.
Yeah, you didn't have a choice.
There was no option. There was there was no there was like, hey, if you do this, I'll give you this. There was no incentive. So she was like, either you learn this skill set or you get kicked out of the house.
Correct.
Right? So there's just a matter of being forced. But it puts a fire under you, right? So you're learning something, and then you enjoy learning it, and then you want to continue learning it, and then you want to educate someone on it. Of course you did.
Wow.
Of course you did. So it was like there's that. So I would say it started off in the trading skill set. Then it wasn't like I said, we've always been in the family business, but it wasn't publicly advertised that it was a family business, right? We were just doing it as a family. Like that's the difference, right? And so what kind of pivoted us to being into the family business sector, which will answer the generational wealth portion, is that we found out with trading is that people were trading with the money that they needed to pay their bills.
Correct.
And so because they were trading with money that they were paying their bills, we were like, there needs to be another option that allows a person to still be able to pay their bills, but also still be able to trade successfully. And so that's when we started leveraging credit. And so then that's when we started getting into the credit scene. But then credit wasn't just credit. It wasn't just funding. You had to learn how to repair credit. You had to learn how to build credit. You then had to learn how to get personal funding. Then you had to learn how to get business funding. And then you got family credit that's involved, right? And from there, we started diving so deep into the rabbit hole that the word trust and generational wealth continued to pop up. And, and from there, then while we were running through these different types of businesses, because we had multiple businesses, and none of them failed, right? At least when we were, the family business that we started didn't fail. What it did is it evolved. And so you had different experiences, different things that you would be learning, but the same question kept popping up every time we created a business.
Right.
How are you able to work with your mother? How are you able to work with your family? How are you able to work with your son? And so what we did is that we were like, why don't we just build a business revolving around the question that someone always asks? And contrary to popular belief, like my mom says, she made her first million at the age of 32. My brother and I were born into wealth. We weren't born like a regular individual was. We grew up getting pretty much anything that we wanted. So in order to build the generational wealth sector of things, it starts off, and we're 3 generations deep, just for understanding. But starting off, it started off with the values that were being passed down. That's how you build generational wealth, starting off, to answer your question.
Okay.
And let me just add
go ahead.
That the other portion of diving deep into the financial part was the people who were trading, and when we were talking about, hey, why don't you leverage credit? If you had a business, you could leverage it on the business side of it. And then when they were saying that their credit scores were like 5, and we were like, what
4.
we were like, what's going on?
They said it was like 5
in the 500s, in the low 600s. We were like, whoa, what is going on here? And it was people that were older than me. That was because we had about 3,000 people in our trade community, and we were like, something's not right. But it didn't dawn. It's like
you never know until you ask.
Right, until you're in that situation or you're talking to people and they're not not embarrassed to talk about their financial situation, but they trusted us, and they were like, oh, well, I don't have any credit, or my credit is I only have a $300 credit card, or and I'm just like, what's going on here? And that really took us, like Marcus said, it really made us go even further and further. It's like you can't even invest if your own personal credit profile is not in order.
100%.
You've got to have your personal stuff in order first so you can move yourself forward. And there are some things you can put in place while you're doing that, but it was just mind-blowing to see people that were 50 and 60 and late 40s and having a credit score of like 500, 550. It was mind-blowing. It's like, and that's the reason why we can't get where we need to go, because we don't have an understanding about financial literacy.
Right.